Muhammad flees to Medina. After his vision, Muhammad ran home. He told his wife and his family what had happened to him. "The most important thing I have learned," he said, "is that all of these idols the Bedouins worship are false. There is only one God, and He is Allah." "You are a prophet," Muhammad's wife exclaimed. She believed Muhammad's story. So did Muhammad's cousin, his servant, and 3 others. These 6 people were the very first Muslims. Muhammad's teaching became known as Islam, and those who followed his teachings were called Muslims. At first, Muhammad only talked about Allah to these 6 followers, but after several years went by, he began preaching to others in Mecca. He walked through the city proclaiming there is only one true God, and His name is Allah. He created the universe and He rules it. At the day of judgment, Allah will look at your life and reward or punish you. So share with the poor. Don't be greedy. And spend all your time trying to make money. Stop worshiping idols. Only worship Allah. Many poor people in Mecca liked what Muhammad was saying, but the rich people were worried when they heard his teachings. Share your money with the poor? They said to each other, "We don't want to do that. And what will happen if people stop believing in the idols of Mecca? They won't come here to the city to worship anymore. They won't buy food and drink or special clothes to wear at the temple. We won't make any more money selling these things." So, the rich and powerful people of Mecca started to persecute the poor slaves and workers who had converted to Islam. They threw stones at them, forced them to leave the city, or put them in jail. And no one would sell food to Muhammad and his family. He had to send friends to buy food secretly. They brought the food to his house in the middle of the night so that no one would see them. Things in Mecca grew worse and worse for Muslims. Soon, more and more Muslims began to leave the city. They went to a nearby city, Medina, which welcomed them. The leaders of Medina even invited Muhammad to come and preach to them. "Come to Medina," they told him, "and we will promise to worship only Allah. We won't steal anymore or tell lies. We'll do anything that you tell us." Muhammad would rather have stayed in Mecca. He didn't want to leave his home, but most of his followers had gone. Soon he had one friend, Abu Bakr, were the only Muslims left in the city. One night, Muhammad and his friend Abu Bakr were sitting in Muhammad's home eating their supper when someone hammered frantically at the door. "Muhammad!" the visitor hissed. "Muhammad, you must let me in." Muhammad went to the door. He peered out, but he didn't recognize the man who stood there. "Who are you?" he asked. "A friend," the stranger answered. "There is a plot to kill you. The leaders of the town are sending soldiers right now to murder you in your home. If you want to live, leave Mecca at once." And then he slipped away into the night. Muhammad and Abu Bakr left their plates and cups on the table and ran. They hurried through the dark, empty streets of Mecca to the city gates. As they ran, they heard shouting behind them. The soldiers had found Muhammad's house empty. "Quick," Muhammad said, "to the mountains. We'll hide in a cave there." They hurried down the road, hearing the soldiers behind them. Soon they found a small, dark cave and crept into it. They waited there, hardly breathing, hoping that the soldiers would pass them by. Muslims say that when the soldiers got to the cave, they paused, wondering whether to search it or not. Then one of them noticed a spider web stretching all across the cave's front. He poked at it. The strands were thick and old, covered with dust, and flies were caught in it. "Look," he said, "this spider web has been here for days." If Muhammad and Abu Bakr had gone into this cave, they would have broken the web. "They can't be here." So the soldiers moved on. When Muhammad and Abu Bakr finally came out of the cave, the soldiers had passed them by. They traveled to Medina, 200 miles away. When the Muslims of Medina heard that Muhammad, the prophet, was arriving, they poured out of the city to greet him, cheering and praising Allah. Muhammad's journey from Mecca to Medina has a special name, the Hijrah. The Hijrah is so important to Muslims that they count their years beginning from the Hijrah. Remember, for Christians, the year of Jesus' birth is the first year of the new calendar. So, the year AD 2000 or CE 2000 came 2,000 years after the birth of Jesus. But Muslims don't count their years from the birth of Jesus. Instead, they count their years from the Hijrah. So the year that Muhammad went from Mecca to Medina is called AH1, or the first year after the Hijrah.